Welcome to It's a Good Life, a podcast for entrepreneurs, where it's all about helping you think, feel, and do better. Here's your host, founder of America's largest coaching company, Brian Buffini. Well, at the top of the morning to you. Today we've got a very special guest. I met Mr. Kronken Geschenkmeyer at a conference in Dublin about 17 years ago. And he's just a real great guy. He's written 13 bestsellers. His latest book, How to Do a Thing, is one that I've really enjoyed reading this past year, and I wanted to invite Mr. Kronken to the show. And Kronken, welcome to the show. Oh, thanks, Brian. Thank you very much. Oh, Mr. Kronken, go ahead and start. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you grow up? Well, my parents grew up in Munich, Germany, and that's where I was born. And we came to America, and I was always very interested about how things were done. And so I studied it, I learned, and I wanted to share with everyone about how to do a thing. Well, thank you. Well, tell our guests, how do you do a thing? Well, there's several different categories of maybe how to do a thing. First, of course, there's just a simple thing, and it's just something you have in your power to do, and you just go and do it. You choose to do the thing, and you execute your brain to move the muscles necessary in order to make that thing happen. That's the most, at a basic core, how to do a thing. Of course, you have other types of ways of doing a thing where perhaps you think about the thing that you want to do in your mind, and then you think about how I'm going to do this thing, but you play it all in your mind. And then after you have played it in your mind, you go and do that thing in the same way that you've played it in your mind, changing a little bit as circumstances might be different than how you envisioned it. But this is playing it in your mind and then doing the thing. And then, of course, if it's a rather large thing, you might actually have a plan and a schedule, and you schedule the things and the things that have to happen, and you still have it in your mind, but it's actually, one layer up. So you start with your core, do a thing. Then you have your envision your thing, and then you do your thing. Then you have your plan and a schedule, and they all build upon each other like layers. Well, that's very interesting. That's very interesting indeed. Well, but I have a lot of people that email me and ask me, Brian, I'm stuck. I'm having difficulty doing a thing. What advice might you give to these people that are having difficulty doing a thing? Oh, well, that's an excellent question. Yes. The difficulty doing a thing comes in one of three categories. I always like to have things in threes. And so one thing that stops you from doing a thing is just you aren't able to, either physically or you haven't had the education to make it happen. So you want to do a thing, but you just can't. Oh, yes. I remember a time when I was in a motorcycle accident. And Kronk and I couldn't do anything. I was just in the hospital, and I physically couldn't, and I wanted to do things, and I knew how to, but I couldn't do it. Yes, Brian, that's exactly what I'm talking about, being physically incapable of doing a thing, and you just can't do it. But then, of course, there is the type of, I can do the thing, but I just don't. I have the physical ability, I have the education, but what happens is, either due to fear or due to laziness, I just don't execute. The execution of the thing doesn't happen because of some mental block that stops the thing from happening. And that's a very good thing, to know about yourself. If that is stopping you from doing a thing, then all you have to do is you say to yourself, I can do this, I can make it happen, and just imagine that something very bad will happen if I don't do it by a deadline. Give yourself a deadline and give yourself a consequence. You give yourself a deadline to say, I must be done by this day, and if I don't, I get this consequence. And follow through on your consequence. You give yourself that consequence, and you will teach yourself to not to do a thing, because then if you don't not do the thing, you'll get yourself that consequence. Well, that's great stuff. Too many people today, they just think that the world's going to be handed to them on a silver platter, and they're just going to receive all this stuff. The great Osmandino once said, if you don't motivate yourself before you sleep, then you might wind up motivating yourself to sleep. And yes, that is excellent about the laziness there. Well, there is one third thing that can stop you from doing a thing, of course. And that is that the thing you want to do is too nebulous. You have decided to do a thing, but you don't actually know what it is that you want to do. You haven't defined it. You haven't given it boundaries. You don't actually know what done looks like for your thing. If you haven't decided, or you're like, I want this to be better. Well, what does better mean? Well, I want it to make more money. Well, what does make more money mean? You see, if you want to solve the problem of your idea, your thing being too nebulous, you ask yourself the question, how do I know when it's done? If you realize that you don't know how you know when it's done, how do you know when it makes more money? Okay, well, when it makes 10% more than it's making this year. That is a clear definition of what done looks like, and it's measurable. You can track whether or not you've accomplished it. And so therefore, it's a thing that you can accomplish. You know what done looks like, and by asking yourself that question, how do I know when it's done, you solidify your idea. It's no longer nebulous, and then you can find out what steps you need to take. You can envision it in your mind. You can build your layers. You can make it happen. Oh, that's great stuff. That's great stuff. I've got 5 rapid-fire questions that I ask everyone who comes to this podcast. And so first, what book has been very instrumental in your life? Oh, the book. Yes, I think it would be The Little Train That Could. Yes. I think I can. Yes, that's the most instrumental book. Because if you think you can, most of the time you can. Even if you can't. If you think you can find a way to make it happen. But if you think you can't, nobody can change that. You have to think. You have to have a can-do attitude. You have to think you can. Well, that's great stuff. Great stuff. Thank you, Kronkin. Well, here's another one. You're scrolling through the channels. You stop and see a movie. What is the one movie that stops you every time you see it? Oh, it would be a Shawshank Redemption. Oh, that's the movie that everybody picks. Yes, I just love it. Okay, good. What one piece of advice is most instrumental for you? I think it would be do what you can each day to make the world a better place, so that when you look back on your life, you can say, the people and the life I have lived has caused this world to be a better place because I am in it. Great. And who said that to you? Well, I came up with it myself. A lot of my best quotes I come up with myself. Oh, well, that's very good. That's very good. Well, that's all we have for you today. And I'm going to leave you with a little Irish blessing from my mother, Therese. Therese, take it away. May the road rise up to meet you, and the wind may always be at your back. May the sun shine warmly upon your face, and the rain fall softly upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of his hand. See you next time.